What's good, YouTube? Steel here, and assuming that we all read the title and the reason you clicked the video, unless you're just supporting me, in which case, thank you so much. The video today will be tackling exclusively this challenge down that you see right here, the win this battle with 12 or more Fantastical Parade cards included in your deck. As you can see here, the deck that we'll be using is Gardevoir. As for the 12 cards I've decided are key or the most important to include, the double Meloetta, 2 Ralts, 1 Curlia. You could play 2 if you wanted to. Double Gardevoir, 2 Lucky Ice Pops, 2 Dianthus, and 1 Peculiar Plaza. The reason I'm playing 2 Pops is mainly because there's a lot of matchups, and we'll go into it, especially in the examples, where that healing was very important, especially being able to go Diantha, Lucky Ice Pop. In one matchup specifically, which is the Marsh Stomp one, Swampert, my bad, in which I cut the second Curlia for a second Ice Pop, but feel free to play any ratio that you want. These are just the 12 cards that worked for me. As for the 20 that we'll be using collectively, Meloettas, the Ralt, the Gardevoir line, some healing, and then the Peculiar Plaza. Then we're adding 1 Pokeball, double Rare Candy, double Research, 1 Cyrus, 1 Mars. You could play Sabrina. There's certain matchups that you want Sabrina in. However, I wanted to keep the deck pretty standard, pretty straightforward. Not too much going on. Mars comes in handy a lot in a few matchups, especially since there's so many decks that our opponents have that require like evolving or just having cards in hand. And if you sacrifice, and since we're sacrificing Meloetta usually most of the time, that Mars brings them down to 2. It seems like all the decks have Cyrus, so that's one thing to have in mind. So being able to get that Cyrus out of the way, or just not having to worry about it, that's one thing. The other thing is the healing is very, very important. Since this is a deck that wants to have Gardevoir up front, yes, you leap Meloetta, but as soon as you back it up with Gardevoir, that's your main attacker until you set up like Mewtwo and stuff. But unlike most decks that your lead is meant to fall, sort of like the Meloetta, Gardevoir is setting up, but at the same time is a liability. Like if Gardevoir goes down, you lose the game. So these 90 heals with Diantha and potentially 20 plus from the Ice Pop come very handy to survive multiple threats, as well as maybe not even be threatened at all. As for Mewtwo being my deciding factor, is like the support, like the additional threat, like offensive threat. We don't really need, and by we don't need an Ori counter. There's no Ori in the decks that we're going against, so we could just completely focus on having EXs that attack. So Mewtwo's 150 is the best answer we have. Being able to follow up the 110 from Gardevoir 150 takes out basically every Pokemon that we'll be facing in these solo battles. And any more like discussion or explaining of the deck is probably just redundant. If you have any questions as to either certain choices, certain alternatives, feel free to comment down below. I'll answer them as soon as I see them. I'll add some examples of some of the harder, more challenging solo battles, but this deck will work for all 8 of them. And with that, I want to thank y'all for watching. Please consider subscribing. I will be posting individual solo battle videos, taking on the opposite type, the no EXs, any other clauses that they might have. And with that, I wish you best of luck, and above all else, stay pro. All right, for example number 1, we are going second. As for why I chose the Blacephalon deck is because, let's be honest, Blaziken is a problem. So it's one of the harder, not the hard, I guess they could high roll you is what I'm trying to get at with when I bring up this one. However, going second is huge. Having Meloetta is huge. Hopefully, we get Ralts off of it. Okay, no Ralts there, but can Meloetta clutch up? Let's see. No, the answer is no to that one, I guess. I guess we could technically just Mars in hopes that they don't have turn 2 chicken. Yeah, although they couldn't attack, right? But the more we could delay the chicken, the more that finding Ralts is good enough. We'll put an energy up front there and just pass. Oof. Yeah, those researches would have been nice. As to why I felt the need to showcase that we could take this down, because it might take a few tries just because of how absurd their draws are. I just really need... Ralts would have been nice, but we can't. Force it. We have the option of swinging for 50, sending this Meloetta, and then start charging up, or we can start charging up Mewtwo. The beauty of Mewtwo is that it could swing 50 into enough damage. It could also tank a hit from Blaziken. The only issue is that then we're liable to Cyrus. I think I'm going to swing for 50 and then sacrifice this Meloetta as well. They're going to swing for 50. They're going to take the knockout. We follow it up with Meloetta and hopefully finally see Ralts. Yeah, Mewtwo at this point is just a finisher. We can't afford to put it in harm's way. Because the 2 points would just cost us the game, right? Okay. Okay, we have the Ralts, the CLC, guaranteed. Energy there. Charge it up. And nothing else to do there. Blacephalon, we're not worried about Blacephalon. Our issue with this deck is definitely just the Blaziken staring right at us, right? But you see the line already, especially with Cyrus and all. We just go Rare Candy, Gardevoir, swing, charge up the Mewtwo, and it's basically not basically literally game. Even if they try to back out, we have Cyrus. We don't even need a heal for this one. It got a little dicey because of the lack of Ralts for like more than half the game at this point. I guess for the sake of some kind of Mars or something. Alright, charge everything up here. Because even if they have like Lily or something, let's say they had healing, it would go up to 110, which again Gardevoir could knock out. Yeah, now they're gonna run. We have 0 points, so they can't even loosen me. And just like that, we close it out with Cyrus. And that's example number 1. Were we able to do it without points and all that? No. I would say you would probably need a different deck to close this one out without losing points. Because Gardevoir as a whole, unless the opponent's deck is really that bad, you're usually sacrificing the Meloetta off rip. I usually put auto once it forces you to do it even if the game's over. I'm not going to be too nitpicky. They have added a few cool things to the game as a whole. And with that, let's jump to example number 2, which is probably the hardest, or the most, not the hardest, the most high roll in Swampert. Alright, for this example, we're also going second. And, oof. Not a pretty hand, but we'll make it work, or try to make it work. Obviously, honestly, not obviously. Honestly, these hands get fixed by, if you find the plaza, it's almost like it doesn't matter what your lead is. Obviously, Meloetta is ideal. But they draw super consistent, bro. That's crazy. Alright, our turn now. Got our own research here. We found Ross this time pretty quickly. We do have a research. I almost hit end turn. They moved the auto button up. They should move the end turn at least more than like a pixel above the deck. Which is an... I don't know. Maybe I'm just being nitpicky. There's like obviously 2 ways this goes. We would need Plaza and... Let's not be too greedy. Because Plaza and Rare Candy off the top would be kind of crazy. Jesus. Alright, so they're clearly showing their hand. Being that they have they're just building up for Swampert. Let's see what we got. We could have Mars there, but honestly we don't need it in the long run. Our win condition is much different. Now, we didn't get either or, so I'm glad we're able to swing with Mewtwo here. The issue with Mewtwo is like since we're not playing Cape or I guess Fields or anything like that, the Swampert does swing for lethal once it swings. So if we're able to get it out of the way, it'd be ideal. But again, nothing we really could control right here, except the speed in which we get. Oof. Okay. And just like that, you can switch it up a bit. You could try to find Curlia, or just the deck thinning in general is probably ideal, right? Let's go energy here. It's gonna come down to knocking out Swampert anyways, right? So let's do it like this. Misty, okay. That's another thing that you could never... Now you can never, though. The word's not never. Obviously you could account for Misty. It's just like... But you can't control how it's gonna affect the game, basically, is what I'm trying to say. Or what I was trying to get at. We have free retreat, so whichever one we chose to be active doesn't really affect the outcome. We found the rare candy. Okay, now we're in business. We're definitely gonna Mars, by the way. Yeah, we have nothing. Having all the heals in hand is actually huge. You're actually. I'm glad that we have the double ice pop and Diantha. Like that. This is our hand, so we could. So I could show you, not we. So I could show you the importance of this hand as a whole. Also, we got to keep into account. I think I'm going all three onto the Gardevoir, because if they hit us for double, like if the Swampert happens to, like, let's say we only go to 4 and the Swampert snipes us, we can't attack. Like this plays around. If the Swampert just happens to hit us for double energy to the lead, because we need to be able to heal with Diantha and attack the same turn if we want to have a chance at winning here. This is one of the few matchups where I was considering throwing in a Sabrina, because obviously situations like this happen a lot, actually, because they usually lead with Suicune. Let it go. And did it just happen? I wasn't paying attention. It literally just happened. Had we not put the energy the way we did, we were cooked. And the importance of having Diantha and Pop is this one exactly right here. It's so that we get out of the range of Swampert again, because otherwise, if we just did Diantha and backed out, we'd be cooked. Can't complain about any of this. And then the other thing is they do play Cyrus, so just backing out into Mewtwo. Also, backing out to Mewtwo was not the answer in this case. In this case, we would have gone Meloetta, right? But thankfully, we played it correctly. We're able to do this. Honestly, it hasn't come up, and I'll be fully transparent. I did not look into their deck list fully. Like, I don't have it off memory, so I'm gonna put this Meloetta down just in case they do play Sabrina. Although I don't think they do. It hasn't come up. Cyrus, 100%. Every match feels like they have Cyrus, and they always have it. It's on top of everything. All right, so this is a case where how do we play around? I think we gotta fully commit to the Mewtwo this time around, because we're gonna swing for 150 here. I guess the downside would be if they play Irida, right? Yeah, Irida could have punished us there. Because it would have put him at 160 and we can't hit that. Alright. And just like that, we're able to close it out against... Believe me when I say, the most annoying... It took me a few tries to figure out, like, what the gimmick is or how to get there. But trust me, this list that I'm giving you is perfect for all 8 battles. But nonetheless, let's do one more just for the sake of showing you the diversity of this deck. Let's go straight to the mirror. And now we're going second once again. This is crazy. Whether it's a good thing or a bad thing, I can't really say. However, this hand's really good. Again, this is the mirror match. As far as is it card for card, I don't believe so. But no, because yeah, they play Xerneas, I think, instead of Mewtwo. This is another matchup where the healing really matters, because they usually are able to double tap the Gardevoirs. Like, the Gardevoirs beat each other in 2 hits. So being able to heal, whether it's Diantha or the Ice Pop, is really important, especially since they're on Xerneas, where the Ice Pop alone is not enough, unless you obviously get the multiple hits. This is not guaranteed routes, but it was 67% chance. The other option was the 33% chance of Mewtwo. Meloetta's never the target here, although it might be, right? Like, we could threaten to start swinging with it. If we had the Plaza... Wait, they could also play Plaza themselves. So let's go... We don't have Candy, though. That's the only issue. We can't really guarantee Gardevoir next turn. Although it doesn't really matter. Again, Meloetta is not the win condition. Like, knocking out Meloetta. I guess we could just do this for the sake of putting cards down. Like, less cards in hand. So many cards in hand, bro. Look at that. Alright, so their Gardevoir is ready to go. Luckily, it does not have enough energy, because we do have... we went second, so that's the... And they gave us Plaza. Alright, all we need is Rare Candy, and we're in there. We got our own Plaza. Which, fun fact, you cannot play. You cannot play one, a stadium on top of the same name. It explains that all in the bottom right, but just in case you didn't know, now you do. So we put down Mewtwo. Can't evolve or nothing. That's tough. The world we low-key start building this up, maybe. See, the advantage to this is that if we find rare candy, we're able to put pressure. Like, we're able to get the first swing on Gardevoir and back it. Jesus Christ. Again, this is the reason why I'm showing these 3 examples specifically, is because they're by far the most challenging of the solo battles for this challenge, specifically for this matchup, basically. Because obviously, if you fine-tune your deck to beat them, you can, by the way. I'm giving you just a cookie cutter, not a cookie cutter, but like a baseline skeleton to play against these solo battles. A list that's capable of beating 1 through 8. However, feel free to, again, against Swampert, throw in, oof, that top deck is beautiful. But against, sorry for losing the attention span, okay. But, yeah, if you feel like you need to bring it against Swampert because you don't necessarily have to beat through the Swampert, feel free to add that. I just wanted to give y'all, just that Sabrina's not as universally useful in these matchups in all solo battles, so that's why I made a list that works for all of them. Feel free to adjust a card here or there that you feel specifically, as long as make sure you don't touch the main 12 that meet the challenge that we're trying to beat, right? Okay, so hopefully all that yapping made some sense. All right, so clearly, luckily we have Cyrus, because clearly here they're gonna back out. They probably have Diantha. We probably need to draw our own. Actually, we don't need to draw our own Diantha because we have the Ice Pop. But it would be nice. Let's go put Ralts down. And here we're going to go 2 energy on Mewtwo because we already put the energy from earlier. And we're going to put 1 on the Gardevoir so that we're able to Diantha and have the option to attack, although I don't think it will be necessary. Okay. Yeah, there's their healing. And they're going to be able to back out into this one. Again, all of this is fine. Let's go Curlia here. Shout out to the Ice Pop and the fact that they don't have Xerneas. If they had Xerneas, we were in big trouble here. Because our Dianthus decided to go on vacation. Yeah, I think because if we swing for 150, that puts us to 60. Another Diantha will put him back to 150. And we don't have the way to back that up again. I think we're kind of forced to go once in again with this Gardevoir. And hope that they don't have the healing. We could do just like they did, set up this one, and then let's give Mewtwo another. What the? Sorry about that. Right there. Although most likely, due to how much they've seen of their deck, running away is not really an option for us. So they are on Mewtwo. Honestly, it hadn't come up in multiple examples, and it's not going to come up. Like, there you go. No healing. Good game. But at least you see the importance of why healing. You saw how healing gave them an extra turn. It let us survive an extra turn as well. But all we're going to do here is Cyrus up the Gardevoir. We're not even going to use our Mewtwo. Just know that we could have used it, alright? And just like that, we've taken all 3. As you see, the importance of the healing. Having to put Gardevoir in the lead is tough. It's not ideal because it is a Mega, so as soon as it drops, you lose the game. Luckily, they gave us cards like Diantha. Luckily, Ice Pop has the potential of being one of those broken cards. Like, the fact that you could just keep playing it, if you flip heads, it could heal for upwards of 100. Like, we saw it against the Swampert, how much it healed. But with that, hopefully this deck works for you. As always, if you have any questions, maybe you're missing some cards which you could alternate, or you don't have Gardevoir, so it's like, what other 12-card deck you could use? I don't have that off the top of my head right now, but feel free to comment down below if that's your situation, and I'll do my best to answer and give you a list that works for this as well. And with that, thank you for watching. Look forward to every solo battle video. I will be making individual ones for all of them. I know it's this season, it's kind of like odd, like they don't all give you hourglasses, but if you're a completionist like me, you want to see those being taken down, beating all the challenges, I got you. So subscribe if you don't want to miss those, and above all else, stay pro.